we've come together to join as community. Before we begin today, I just want to take a moment to recognize the ancestors of this land, the Potawatomi land that we stand on today, and think about the struggles and trials that the peoples of this continent have been through over these many, many hundreds of years. Today, we come together in solidarity because of tragedy that has again come on us as a people. And we are all here today to recognize that we don't stand for bigotry, intolerance, and hatred, and we commit ourselves to the work to ending this. Now, we're privileged to have many great speakers here with us today and community leaders. And I want each of us, as we hear the comments to be presented in front of us, to think about our role in dismantling the systems of white supremacy and hatred. The people that enacted the terrorist events that we saw occur are people that look like many of us in this audience. And they are friends, family, co-workers, business people, teachers, social workers. All of us have a responsibility to look in the eyes of our friends and our family and call out the issues when we see them. It's no longer time to sit by when grandfathers make tasteless jokes that encourage bigotry and selfishness and hatred. It's time to stand up. This is about love. Love is not about smiling and nodding and turning away from when we see injustice. Love is bold and kind. And those people in your life that stand up and make comments over and over again deserve your love to teach them that there is another way, a way that we will walk to together. So I'd like to welcome now Dr. Strickland, who is the president of the Kalamazoo Metropolitan NAACP. Please welcome him, join with him, and listen to the words he has to share today.
I'm not quite, check May. I'm not quite for sure what the weight limit is on this table. But we are putting it at capacity right now. You know, when I was asked to come and to say a few words on behalf of the NAACP, it made me think about how fortunate and how blessed we are to have a community like Kalamazoo. That even in spite of things that are going on around us, and sometimes even within our own county, that it's times like this when we get the opportunity to celebrate the harmony and the unity that we have across so many different barriers and so many different diverse marks and margins. And so I wanted to take out this time. I know that everyone will echo the words of myself and many others who say that we need more unity and less division. The reality of it is that this problem is not a problem of one race or another race alone. It's a problem of division. Division is unhealthy for any group of people who plan on walking progressively and productively together. And until we deal with it, the difficulties and the challenge and confront division head on, we will always see it derail our progress. There's been much great progress that has happened throughout this country, and we've been blessed to all sharing that in one way or another. But I want to make a quick acknowledgement while I'm here just about the fabric of Kalamazoo. You know, as president of the NAACP and senior pastor of Second Baptist Church, I have the unique privilege of pastoring the oldest congregation in Kalamazoo, the oldest African-American descended congregation in the Baptist community of Kalamazoo. And that congregation was started in 1854. Now let me tell you something real quickly for you to embrace and feel real good about as you continue to think about Charlottesville and all of the different places that we're lifting in prayer. In 1854, First Baptist of Kalamazoo already had a relationship with people in the black community, such a strong relationship that it begot and gave birth to First African Baptist of Kalamazoo. In 1854 that happened. Now, about 50 years after that, the congregation decided that they no longer wanted to be First African Baptist and known by their ethnicity, but we decided that we wanted to be called Second Baptist Church of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Amen.
Sometimes when we go in and out of the doors of Second Baptist, we forget the rich history and the many relationships that it took for us to do ministry as we do it today. Sometimes I'm sure that individuals who go in and out of the doors of First Baptist have no idea about how their history has influenced our opportunity to impact our community. Well, days like today are not all sour. These are the kinds of times when we must come together and remind one another how important it is that although both communities might be self-sufficient, that we do not work in isolation from one another. But that this reminds us of just how important it is to continue to reach across racial boundaries, to reach across religious barriers, to reach across any source of division, and to make sure that we are uplifting and encouraging every productive and progressive group, organization, and citizen by supporting them hand in hand as we all move forward. I come today as the member, as the president of the NAACP, to acknowledge that we are committed to this charge. We are committed to this endeavor. We're committed to not allowing any media attention to Charlottesville to make us mistake the great county and the great city that we have. We are encouraged and inspired to utilize events around us to make our domestic communities better, to make our relationships stronger, and to perform preventative measures to make sure that in the days to come, these things never bleed into the city of Kalamazoo, Michigan. So to each of you, I say thank you. Thank you for working together. Thank you for seeing it as so important and so vital to stand together in times like these. Thank you for coming against hatred, not just with our billboards and not just with our signs and all of those things that we put together, but with our day-to-day actions, with how we treat and embrace one another in our daily vocations, how we raise our children, how we save our society. Once again, I conclude by acknowledging that as far as the Metropolitan Kalamazoo NAACP, all of our friends and all of our supporters, we stand with you in solidarity as we lift up and continue to perpetuate peace in the direction of Charlottesville, Virginia. May God bless you and keep you as our prayer.
Grassroots in action here today, everyone. Thank you for Dr. Strickland for those words, encouraging all of us to come together, work together. Next, I would like to introduce our local 60th District State Representative, John Hoadley, to the stage.
Good afternoon, Kalamazoo. When word of the rally came, I got texts and calls from my colleagues. Mayor Hopewell, Senator O'Brien, both send their regrets for traveling and being able to be here today. But I want to bring 3 simple messages, and I need you to repeat after me. This is not okay.
This is not okay.
This is not normal.
This is not normal.
We must act.
We must act.
What we saw in Charlottesville is not okay. Nazi salutes, violence, hatred. These are the things that are not okay. We cannot let it be okay for 1 minute because hatred is like a virus, and if it starts there, it comes everywhere. And for those of us that this is a moment of awakening, know that so many people have been dealing with white supremacy and racism for very much longer. But if you are moved to act, we need to act. This is not normal. 2017 has been a year of where norm after norm has gone away, where we're accepting the tweets of a ridiculous man. Where threats of war from the golf course surpasses for foreign policy. This is not normal.
It's not normal.
So we must act. We've had a busy year trying to save healthcare for 22, 32, 16 million people. We've had a year where we're pushing back against forces that empower literally white supremacists from the White House. We've been pushing back against folks that attack our public education and our communities and our safety. It's tiring, y'all. Yes. But we must act. So we cannot become complacent, because when we do, folks like those in Charlottesville win. So we must act. We must not let this become normal. We must never accept this as okay. So I close as we started. This is not okay.
This is not okay.
This is not normal.
This is not normal.
And we must act.
We must act.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your words as well. Just want to recognize Dr. Strickland had a 3 o'clock event today, so he wanted all of you to know this event was important, but he had a commitment, so he had to step away this afternoon. But again, we thank him for being here with us. Thank you. So next, I would like to bring forward Jaquise Robertson from Universalist Unitarian Community Church. Jaquise is going to read a piece for us. So I'd like to bring Jaquise forward.
Good afternoon. Friends, we stand here once again mourning the loss of bodies to hate. Mourning hate rearing its ugly head again in a way we haven't seen in years, yet here we are again mourning. Letting tears fall after the fact, as if the pain is something new and the circumstance is something different, but no more. No more can I cry another tear in this park. No longer can I sit silent, because that does an injustice to you and does an injustice to me. No more can I allow my eyes and heart to dance around this issue. So today, and I say this with the love, we no longer have the privilege of not using our access. We hold a key to the door of prosperity if and only if we confront the racist, homophobic, sexist, bigoted comments of those at our jobs, church, house, and more, because it was Maya Angelou who said, words are things. Be careful about the words you use and the words you allow to be used in your house. Words are things, and we must be careful. Words have moved from slurs to guns being shot, cars running through crowds, jobs lost, futures lost, lives lost. So no more can we let these words manifest.
Yes.
So I invite you to put an end to this in all your communities, in all our communities. Instead, use the power that words have to manifest the dismantling of systems that manufacture hate. Instead, use these words to agitate, educate, and resist. Instead, use these words to manifest love in the true sense of the word. Love that challenges you and us to do better and be better. And last but not least, use the power of words to manifest change. Because it's no longer a perceived want, but a need. It's no longer a word, but an act. It's no longer to be tolerated as something to obtain in the hereafter, but right now. All power to the people. Thank you.
So far, so good. I'm still on my feet. Powerful words. I want to thank again Jaquise for sharing her words and her call to action to all of us. I hope we all hear that deeply and recognize that it rings true. And it's our time to move forward. It's not time to listen. It's not time to just think and show up and be sad. It's time to act. And that's a commitment we all must make together, okay? All right. So again, thank you to Jaquise Robertson from Universal Unitarian Community Church of Southwest Michigan. Next to the stage, I would like to bring another tremendous speaker to share his thoughts with us today, Pastor Nathan Dannison. He is the senior pastor at the First Congregational United Church of Christ here in Kalamazoo. So please welcome Pastor Nathan Dannison.
How's everybody doing out there? You can still hear me? My name's Nathan. I'm one of the pastors at that church over there on the corner. We've been part of the downtown area since before the city of Kalamazoo existed. We've been here. We've been trying to show up on the right side of history as much as possible, participating in the Underground Railroad, sheltering freed slaves, opposing almost every foreign war that this nation's ever been involved in. And today we're proud members of the Sanctuary Movement, standing against the deportation forces that are invading our villages and our city. I've got three very specific requests that I'd like to make on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. In my church, we always say Happy Sunday. So can y'all say Happy Sunday? Happy Sunday! Never forget that Sunday is a time for rest, recuperation, coming together, and joining our voices together and working together. Are there any church folk out there? Any church people? Yeah. We got a few. We got a lot of churches in this town. We've got a lot of clergy in this town. I want to make a specific request of the church folk that are here today. I hope and I pray that you heard your pastor, your leader, naming white supremacy as a sin against God Almighty from the pulpit. If you are part of a faith community, if you have been given the privilege of proclamation, then it's time for us to call to bear upon this country and declare that racism, white supremacy, and fascism are sins against God and God's creation. And if your pastor lacks either the courage or the stamina to bring this up, please schedule a time to talk with them on Monday morning in their office. I know they want to hear from you, and if they don't want to talk to you, you can give them my phone number. Jesus Christ was hung on a Roman cross by a fascist government. The fascist government of Rome is the government after which every fascist government has modeled itself. And as Christians, we've got to remember that. The second request I have is out there, that if you know a young man, a young person who is 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, I want you to think about them right now. I want you to think about that young teenager, especially if they are male, especially if they are white, especially if they are male and white and isolated, because there are vipers out there who are recruiting our young men into fascist movements. They are using chat rooms in video games, they are using the internet, they are using YouTube channels to radicalize our young men. And when they're 13, 14, 15 years old, it starts out as a fun game. When they're 18, 19, 20 years old, they are practicing fascists.
That's right.
That is happening right now. If you know a young person, get in the way of that system. Break that system. Introduce them to community. Do not let them wither in the darkness. Do not let their only contacts with adults be strangers on the internet who have political motivations. The last request that I have is to all of you who are out there working in anti-fascist direct action. The mantle of our democracy rests upon your shoulders. We are with you. We support you. If you are an anti-fascist organizer, if you are an anti-fascist protester, we know that you did not go to Charlottesville because you wanted to, but because the demands of patriotism meant that you had to put your body on the line for the safety of our democracy. We stand with you. In closing, I want to say to all of you who are thinking about joining this anti-fascist movement, we need you, we need you, we need you. The road to fascism begins with marches and rallies, and it ends in the ovens of Auschwitz. We have forgotten that. We need to be reminded of that today. So please stand up, be counted, put your bodies on the line, put your privilege to work in your community. We've got to say to these people, in the words of the sainted Woody Guthrie, all you fascists are bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose.
Hope on a Sunday. Let's next welcome our next speaker, a woman I admire very much, an inspirational leader in our community, Shannon Sykes-Nearing, who is a Kalamazoo City Commissioner and a local community activist.
Here, Shannon, I'll point it. Is he pointed the wrong way?
I've carried too many of these over the years. Bear with me. I think we all been asking each other today and yesterday, are we okay? Can you not hear? How's that? Better? All right, let me talk a little bit louder. So first off, I'm gonna ask you to bear with me. I know we all been asking each other, are we okay today and yesterday? And the truth is, I'm not. I've been doing this too long. I've been up here in front of you too many times over the years. And I am exhausted. One thing that I want to note to my sis, Jaquise, I know the fallen was one of your comrades yesterday.
Oh, no.
You make me a better freedom fighter and a better person. I thank you for that. So, Jaquise and I worked together way back when we were just a small group of obnoxious, rabble-rousing activists with Kalamazoo for Justice. And we had conversations back then about why are we so tired? Why are we so exhausted? And what we knew was that there was not enough of us doing the work. And when you are a small group of folks trying to do the work, you're carrying a whole heck of a lot of burden. And so I'm glad that there are more people doing the work, but there aren't enough of us. And we need to do more. So normally I come up here and I stand and I normally have a message for white supremacists and the KKK and Nazis, but I don't today. I have a message for you. I have a message for white liberals, for white progressives, for white allies. And please understand, because some of y'all are even members of my family, I say this with all the love in the world. You are failing. You are not doing enough. Amen. And you are not doing it right. And let me help you understand why you're not doing it right and where that failure comes from. Because too often we are quick to decide what we should be doing and what needs to be done for communities rather than listening to the activists who are a part of those marginalized communities and letting them tell you what they need and what they see and what they feel and what you all need to do.
Speak it. Speak it.
And while you all are failing, my people are dying. Hashtag after hashtag, my people are still dying at the hands of a white supremacist capitalist society that can only find value in those we deem respectable enough.
Yep.
And so let me help you out. If you feel that a part of your work is to help folks of color better understand their interactions with the police force, you're doing it wrong.
That's right.
If your idea of working with young youth of color is to fix hardened hearts, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
If you cannot see the connections between our beloved Ian Lee statue and the Robert E. Lee statue that they are fighting about in Virginia, you are doing it wrong. If you think the answer to marginalized folks' oppression is a wealthy white man with a checkbook,
No shit.
for the love of God, the same checkbook that wrote hundreds of thousands of dollars to get Donald Trump elected, you are doing it wrong. If you are in work to address poverty by teaching us how to navigate better, you are doing it wrong. If it makes you uncomfortable that our young people know who Willie Lynch is, you're doing it wrong. And if you know all the truth in what I'm saying today, but you can't be bothered to tell your folks the truth in what I'm saying today because it's too uncomfortable, or maybe it's a waste of time, or they won't get it anyway, you're doing it wrong. Because here's the thing. You may feel like you're getting nowhere. That's real. I do too. My people do too. Every day it feels like everything we do doesn't matter because we're not getting anywhere. But guess what? We don't have the option to go sit down. Because we got kids coming up that need to survive.
That's right.
So get uncomfortable and waste your time. And if enough of us do that, maybe we get racism yesterday in another state permeates our everyday existence here in Kalamazoo and leads to poverty, addiction, pain, and anger, the dropout rates of young black male youth, lack of opportunity for those that don't navigate well enough, assimilate fast enough, behave respectably enough. Well, enough is enough. And so I have 3 jobs for every one of you when you leave this park today. This is not optional. The first thing you need to do when you get home is you need to take your own individual test on implicit bias. There's a great website, Harvard put it out. And when you get your results, don't evaluate how it doesn't apply to you. Analyze what it actually means about you. And use that information to start questioning the thoughts in your head when you come across certain folks. Because some of us who are liberal and progressive and white allies still see a young man of color in a hoodie and still feel just a little bit threatened.
Say it!
Evaluate that internal voice. Figure out what it's saying to you and start dismantling that. Next, call, visit your folks. Because those folks in Virginia are your folks. I got somebody I got to reach out to. They are our friends and our family members. They're the uncle that makes you uncomfortable at the Thanksgiving table. We keep saying it. Talk to them. Talk to them until they hear you. And if they don't hear you, let them know that they're not family anymore unless they get this right. And last and certainly not least, stop helping us navigate and start helping us dismantle. And if you don't know how to do that, and I'm a wager you probably don't, find an activist from a marginalized community. Find an activist of color and ask them what your marching orders are. What is your to-do list? And let them tell you, and don't tell them, well, you know, I used to do this work over here and that really won't work. Do what they tell you to do. Now, some of y'all are gonna be real upset about what I had to say today. If you are, you got a whole lot of work to do unpacking where you're at.
Next, I'd like to bring to the stage, after that, those powerful, powerful words. We want to hear now from Jay Maddock. Jay is the Executive Director of Outfront Kalamazoo. Please welcome Jay today to the stage.
If I fall, it's my entire height, so. I am not okay, because this is not okay. Can you hear me now? Is it the wrong way? Did that? Oh. All right. I am not okay, because this is not okay. This also is not new. Our country has been functioning because of white supremacy for far too long. This might be a wake-up call for some of you. Welcome. Let's do some work. I have little to add to this conversation, and frankly, too many white men have been taking up too much space. So let me make a public response and say to every black activist here, this white trans Christian man is listening, and I'm ready to put my body at risk, I'm ready to put my voice at risk, and I'm ready to do as needed to make sure that we start dismantling this white supremacy. No, I have 3 demands to the white people that are here today. 1, if you have money, donate to the organizations that are doing the work. Donate to organizations that are led by people of color that are doing the work. If you don't have money and you have time, start volunteering and doing the work. If you don't have money or time, get out of the way. Stop showing up to rallies. Stop making cute signs. Stop making Facebook posts to get the likes. You're not helping. Put your money and your time where they're needed. And stop showing up so that you can get those little thumbs up and those hearts, okay? That's not enough. That is not going to help. We'll keep having rallies until you make the time and find $1 or $2 in your pocket. Make that 100 or 2. Lastly, the Outfront Kalamazoo office is located right around the corner. If there is any group, no matter small or, well, maybe how large, because we do have a capacity limit. If you need space to organize and to plan to start dismantling white supremacy, our doors are open, free of charge. Thank you.
I just want to let anyone in the crowd know if you need water, we have a blue cooler here in the middle. Methodist Church has brought that for all of us, so anyone in need of some water, please feel free to help yourself to that, okay? All right, so the call today is about action. Our next speaker, I want to bring forward another community leader and activist, public defender. Please welcome Elisa Parker.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. All right, how about that? So, I struggled to come out here today. When I first saw the post about the rally, I've been doing this work, like my sister Shannon has said, for a long time. And like her, I said, you know what? I think I need some self-care.
Yeah.
I think I might go to the beach. But then I began to think about what is it that I would do if I were in the 60s. I began to think about Martin Luther King, about Ella Baker, about Fannie Lou Hamer, and how tired they were. Yep. I began to think about going in and day out, staying up nights, pleading with people, begging people. And the words of Ella Baker came back to me that we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. So today I thought about what is it that I'm going to say, because I'll be honest, I'm tired of coming to rallies. If you are outraged about what happened in Charlottesville, but you are not equally outraged when you go to your jobs and you don't see people of color in positions of management. If you are outraged about what happened in Charlottesville, but you are not equally outraged at the voting booth, when it comes to electing people who believe in policies and practices that will help people of color, if you are outraged by white men with torches, but you are not equally outraged by white men and white women who wield a pen, who make decisions to keep people of color out, then you are not doing enough. The calls for action have been made, and I come once again making a call for action to you today. We cannot just come to rallies. Rallies are necessary to amplify the problem. But when the rally is over, will you be checking your own bias? Will you be doing the work of dismantling the system of racism? I've said it often, that racism is the systematic ism in this country that has allowed every other ism to fester and infect this community. And until we do the hard work of calling out white supremacy for what it is, as terrorism, until we do the hard work of dismantling that system, every other thing that we want to fight against is going to continue to fester. We have to do the work. We have to first off call it what it is. There's a saying that Ian Levon Zant used. Call a thing a thing. Call a thing a thing. Yesterday was a terrorist act. We so often get up in arms about what's happening in other countries, but what is happening over here in America? We talk about Charlottesville, but not too long ago, there were Ku Klux Klan rallies in Kalamazoo.
Yes, yes, yes.
We must call a thing a thing. Two, after we call it a thing, we must be willing to work with it and deal with it. We have to use our positions of privilege to start calling these systems out. So often I go into the workplace and I hear people say, well, we can't find qualified people of color. Let me tell you something. I went to a historically black college, and I've worked with black people in every single industry who can do this work. All kinds of work. So there are people out there. So if you're not, if somebody gives you the excuse, well, we can't find people of color, then challenge the recruitment process. There is work to do. And if you challenge the recruitment process and you find that that's not good enough, make it ask another question. The problem is it's so easy. It's so easy to come to a rally and to hold a sign and to go home and feel good about this because, hey, I'm not a racist. I went to the rally. But what are you doing when you go to work? What are you doing at school? When you see a black child behaving a certain way and you call that child a problem, but we see white children acting the same way and we say they have a disability that we need to help. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, progressives and liberals, when we're too busy fighting with each other instead of electing candidates that will at least have our voice in our ear when we bring these issues up? What are we doing? So many people were so willing to step outside of this election and not participate because of their ideologies. And yet Trump is doing everything that he said he was going to do. Are we outraged and shocked by a man who said he's going to do this kind of thing? So we have a chance to act. We have a chance to come together and say, we're going to quit putting silly purity tests on people and we're going to get people elected that believe in our values and our ideas so that we can at least get some things passed. So we don't just stand on the sidelines. We're going to get people who will show up to rallies, who will listen to us, who will take our phone calls. Let's get good people in office so that we can change the system. So I implore you today, as you leave this rally, the work hasn't even begun. If today, like my brother Jay said, it's the first time you're being outraged, hello, welcome. Many of us have been outraged our entire lives.
Say it, girl.
Many of us have to talk to children, our nieces, our nephews, our kids, to tell them this is the world that you're living in.
That's right.
There's nothing more heartbreaking than telling a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old black child that this is what they just have to endure.
Right.
If you don't have to have those conversations with your children, welcome. If all you are is outraged, welcome. We have work to do. This is not about a rally. This is about the work. So I will end by saying, if you truly believe in freedom, you cannot rest. I may be tired, but I cannot rest. And I need you to join us in this work.
White people, it's time to get to work. It's time. It's time. I want to bring another last call to action. Gwendolyn Hooker has an announcement from the NAACP. that you would like to make, calling all of you to action before we end today.
Hello, Kalamazoo. Hello. So my name is Gwendolyn Hooker. I am the membership chair for the... The right side. Hello. Is that better? Okay. So obviously I don't do this very often. I'm more of the behind the scenes, get the work done, get down and dirty with actually doing the work. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you that's here today to actually put your money where your mouth is, to actually do some things, to actually move this cause so that we can actually make an impact in Kalamazoo. So like I said, my name is Gwendolyn Hooker. I am the membership chair for the Metropolitan Kalamazoo branch. We are located at 609 Rose Street, which is a couple blocks down, across the street from Second Baptist Church. We need for everybody that believes that what's going on in Charlottesville is wrong to actually embrace the call to action, join Pro Kalamazoo, join an organization that believes in doing grassroots work to actually get the work done, to actually come out and join us in strategizing to make some things happen here in Kalamazoo County. So on September 16th, we're asking everybody to come to Martin Luther King Park, I'm sorry, not Martin Luther King Park, Farrell Park on Rose Street. Embrace the call to action and get involved with the NAACP. If you are willing, if you are able, I have information about that event. I also have cards for President Strickland. There's several NAACP members here throughout. Congratulations. Thank you all for coming out and supporting this civil rights movement that we're in. Thank you so much for coming out, and I hope that you all embrace the call to action.
So today, my name is Jen Straps. I'm a co-founder of ProKZoo. Many calls to action today. There is not a short supply of ways that you can get involved and make a difference. All of you know we'll be having a discussion about inequality in education coming up on August 23rd. We'll be meeting at 6 p.m. at the First Congregational Church, and we'll be partnering with Michigan United and the NAACP and Griffin Place to talk about the school-to-prison pipeline. What inherent systemic issues push children out of school and into the criminal justice system, and what each one of us can do to take action to change that. Okay? So I encourage each of you to join us if you can. Today has been an important day, but today is an event. Civil rights is a process. It's a march. It is an ongoing effort of our lives. And all of us today need to look deep inside of ourselves and make a commitment to do that work. The work is not easy. The work will be frustrating. The work sometimes feels hopeless. And that work must continue, no matter what, because we will unite and we will overcome when we work together. I believe that can be true if we allow it to be true. Thank you all for being here today. Let this be a beginning for you. If you've not been an activist before, take action, take action, take action, and don't stop taking it until we change the world. Thank you.